Hello, this is me, and I just read what Avetik from ChessMood wrote about the Andon chord, that simple act of pulling the line and saying something's off. And I have been thinking about Daniel Naroditsky and the state of the chess world, which sadly has been toxic all along. Danya did speak up. Maybe he just should have spoken up even more and spoken up earlier. Maybe he wasn't clear enough about himself, and maybe he wasn't ready to risk everything that came with his name. I don't blame him. He did speak up more than anyone else in the chess world, the way I see it. Being brave isn't always about raising your voice. It can be about not stepping aside when truth knocks on your door. And Daniel stood there longer than most would. When I think back to when all this began, the Queen's Gambit hype, the pandemic, how chess suddenly became a symbol of genius and control. It's like the momentum never stopped. The attention kept growing, and maybe the drama had to grow with it. As if the chess world couldn't slow down without losing the spotlight. Then came the chaos with the accusations and people taking sides that just escalated more and more. And then this strange place we have come to now, filled with grief, confusion, and maybe a bit of shame. Like everything finally reached its breaking point. Maybe this is what happens when too few people dare to pull the cord. Things keep moving until something or someone breaks. Silence has its own cost. A few days after Daniel passed away, I found myself writing a kind of reflection that became like a small tribute. Not just to him, but also to Walter Tevis, the writer behind The Queen's Gambit. The author behind The Queen's Gambit. Because in a way, it felt like that story had come to some kind of logical conclusion. I wanted it to read the same way as the book, and I called it The Lost Chapter of The Queen's Gambit. The Queen's Gambit, the lost chapter. The room was still. Even the clock had stopped. Beth sat at the board, the pieces scattered, the queen gone. The papers had turned. Was Beth Harmon too good, they asked. Some said she had help. Some said she'd lost her mind. Viktor Karsin spoke for them all. He said the game must stay pure. He said if she was innocent, truth would prove it. It sounded like care. It wasn't. She read the stories until the words lost shape. She poured a drink. The glass shook a little in her hand. It didn't taste like anything she remembered. There was a knock sometime after midnight. She didn't answer. She stared at the board and thought about how simple the pieces were, how quiet. They found her the next morning. The queen lay on its side. The news spread by noon. World champion found dead in Moscow hotel. They said in exhaustion. They said pressure. They said she drank again. Nobody said loneliness. The officials talked about the honor of the game. Viktor Karsin gave interviews. His voice was calm, his eyes careful. He said she had been fragile, that she wished he could have helped. They printed his picture beside hers. Time moved on. Machines replayed her games and failed to find a thread. Her moves broke their logic. They kept trying. Weeks later, a maid sweeping the corridor found a single white queen under the radiator, scuffed and forgotten. She turned it in at the desk. No one claimed it. Years later, a small stone marked Beth Harmon's grave. 1952 to 1982. Rain had worn the carving smooth. From a distance it looked like the outline of a queen, fading back into the board.